Hello everyone. Today we have our guest, our friend Mr. Harsh, and he is currently undergoing his industrial training under Amazon, which is a well-known brand. And and he has done his articleship from Khandelwal and Jain Associates. So let's get into deeper insights from him. Hi Harsh, how are you?
Hi, Ta. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fine, fine, fine. So everything good? How is the work and everything
Yeah,
going on?
it's going good. I have my attempt in November, so preparing for it as well.
Okay. So, can you just brief about your journey from articleship to industrial training?
Sure. Before that, I will just introduce myself. So I'm Harsh. I'm born and brought up in Lonavala. Everybody might be knowing where Lonavala is.
Yeah.
I've done my schooling from there. After that I came to Pune in my 12th. I did my 11th and 12th, and thereafter BCom from Neswadia only, Neswadia College of Commerce. I've cleared my foundation and inter, and I have started my articleship in February 2020 with Shah Khandelwal Jain and Associates. I was in the audit department. After that, I chose to join Amazon in December 2021 as an industrial trainee. I got the opportunity in the finance department, so I thought, why not? So I joined Amazon. Before that, uh, I worked as an article trainee. In majority of the part was in assurance only, but I did some taxation work also. So I have a round experience.
Okay, okay. Great. So, we can just start with the your articleship experience. How was it in audit
Yeah,
department?
so if I have to elaborate, it was not like a big four audit department where there are only statutory audits, but our firm gave us all round experience. Like in the audit department, we did tax audits, uh, we did internal audits, we did process documentation. There was an assignment of fixed assets model implementation where I was plotted, so I did that for a couple of months in Mumbai. And we did tax audits, we also did stat audit, which is a part of audit department basically, and individual ITRs also. For the clients for whom we did tax audits, we only filed individual ITRs only also. So that was also an experience, which a majority of audit departments do not get. So that was a benefit. Other than that, I was also involved in a little bit of software development, which our firm was trying to do for bill of entry, manual entry. So we were trying to automate it, but that attempt was unsuccessful, however. But I was a part of that also. So an all-round experience before joining industrial training.
Okay, so I want to ask, like, why did you join the industrial training? Uh,
Yeah, so that is a question I get a lot. There is no specific reason I have, why industrial training or why not continue with articleship and then go for a job. But my basic intention was I just wanted to explore. So I wanted to not only get out of audit, but also get into a finance domain, understand how our financial functions working in majority of the big companies. So there is no specific reason of joining industrial training, but I just wanted to explore, and that will be my intention after clearing CA also. I would just like to explore for a couple of more years after qualifying also, what suits me, what gives me a kick. That finding that is very important. So
okay.
I'm just on the journey of finding that.
Great. So, can you just briefly elaborate about your profile, like in which domain you are working?
Yeah, so before going on to my Amazon experience, I would just like to say the transition period,
Yeah,
from articleship to industrial training. That was, if that is a separate question, I can answer that later. You want me to answer that now or later?
yeah, you can answer it now.
So I started applying somewhere in September 2021, if I'm not wrong. I applied in all the vacancies which I was finding, on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, everywhere. And I was just cold emailing everyone that this is my CV. I prepared a CV. This is my CV, and I want to join your company for industrial training. So a lot of them did not reply,
Yeah,
and I got reply. In fact, I got into Morgan Stanley. I got into HSBC Gurgaon. Morgan Stanley was Bangalore, if I'm not wrong. HSBC Gurgaon, BPCL Mumbai. These three offers I had, and Goldman Sachs rejected me. JPMC rejected me.
Okay.
and then Amazon happened. So Morgan Stanley I rejected because it was a reporting profile. It was an investment bank, but it was a reporting profile. So I didn't want to leave audit for reporting. A similar case was with HSBC also. It was more of a GRCA, which is governance, risk and controller auditor of the UK bank. So I didn't want to get there. And BPCL was basically internal audit and accounts department. So
Okay.
I didn't want to join that either. So I thought Amazon. And coming back to the Amazon thing. So now after I joined Amazon, I will take interview questions later of all the companies I
Yeah.
mentioned. I
Yeah.
will just give a
Yes.
brief about my job description and what I do at Amazon.
Yes.
So basically, if I want to elaborate in a little detail, whenever a seller sells anything on Amazon, the first place where it comes is a fulfillment center. Okay, so it is like a processing unit where there is an inbound activity. The seller sells it. It comes to the processing unit of FC, which is fulfillment center. The packaging and everything storage happens in there. After that, from the fulfillment center, it goes to a place called sort center, where all the sorting happens. For example, if there is a fulfillment center in Mumbai and you are sitting in Pune, you have ordered something from, let's say, the seller is based out of Delhi. Okay, so the
Okay.
goods is coming from Delhi to Mumbai fulfillment center, right? From fulfillment center, it will come to Pune sort center where all the sorting will happen. Sorting as in, for example, Taha lives in Bibewadi, Pune. So
Okay.
there will be separate slots for Bibewadi, for Round, for Sadashiv Pet, for example.
Okay.
Sorting will take place. From sorting, it will come to your place.
Right.
So basically, from fulfillment center to sort center, we call the middle mile.
Okay.
So all the costs which are involved. So there are basically two types. Also, there is a division there, which is OTR and UTR. OTR is on the road and UTR is under the roof.
Okay.
I'm basically a part of OTR cost, on the road cost. So all the cost which are there involved. Not this is just one lane. There are more than 200 lanes which Amazon operates pan India. So like fulfillment center, you can go via road, which we call trucking. You can go via air, which we call air business. From sort center to your delivery station, which is the last mile, there is milk run. So that is there. I am a part of that team. And what my job profile is, basically whatever operations is happening in Amazon, everything is getting accounted somewhere else. As a controller, what I have to do is I just have to prepare some metrics. For example, what is the cost per unit, what is the cost per shipment,
Okay.
how is it varying based on the lanes, how is it varying on matlab, with reference to the time. Basically that is the part of my job, and predicting the cost for some more future months or years. For example, there are different metrics for that.
Okay.
Predicting the cost and reporting it to the senior management is
Okay.
a part of
So
the job for my team.
okay. So your domain is basically cost controlling and preparing budgets and forecast, right?
Right. That is what FP&A is all about, financial planning and analysis. So
Okay.
basically cost controllership and preparing budgets and other things.
So your costing profile is basically from the OTR perspective and not from the UTR.
Right, right,
Okay.
right,
Uh,
right.
and what is the difference between OTR and UTR?
Like I said, under the roof is the fulfillment center cost. So you think from a perspective of a factory,
Okay.
like what is the fulfillment center's input, what are the inbounds, what are the actual processing cost, and what is the outbound.
Okay.
So inbound and outbound are basically transportation costs, which are covered under on the road OTR.
Okay.
But UTR is all the processing cost or the inventory managing cost,
Okay.
like
Okay.
that.
Understood. Um, okay. So where was this the only profile you got, or were there different options too, which Amazon offered?
Amazon had this opening for me when I joined.
Okay.
There are more than 20 teams where Amazon takes interns. For example, I am in a middle mile finance team. Some friends are in sort center finance, which I said is after fulfillment center. Some are in FC finance, some are in worldwide finance, which is basically different profiles. I'm not too sure about those profiles in detail. I know in a nutshell what they do, but my profile is transportation, basically Amazon logistics, everything related to Amazon logistics.
Okay, so can we say that it is related to supply chain management sort of thing, or
Right, we can say that. We can say that.
okay, okay. So yes, we understood your profile. The next question would be like, what is the leave policy for exam leaves?
I think leave policy is very dependent on your line manager. But before onboarding, let me tell you a short story, if time permits.
Yeah.
I got my Morgan Stanley interview was scheduled on 12th of December. By the time I had cleared Amazon, so I had to reply to Amazon by 20th of December. So
Okay.
on the 12th, I said in Morgan Stanley that 20th is my cutoff. To be very honest, I've got selected in Amazon, and I can pursue provided you change the profile and you revert back to me before 20th.
Okay.
Okay, so they came back to me by 22nd of December that you are selected and we will start the onboarding process. But I said that I have already accepted Amazon and I've joined Amazon. So I joined Amazon. After that, what I did was a couple of months I was basically doing the onboarding processes. What are the different things? And coming back to your question, what was your question? I forgot.
Leave policy. It was about leave
Yeah,
policy.
leave policy I was saying. So I was serving Amazon with for 15 months, right? Starting from December 2021 to my term is till February 2023, which includes 3 months of leave policies. So some profiles ask you to compulsorily defer your attempt, but I was pretty clear. I said to the HR that I have to give my first attempt. I am ready to reject Amazon also if you want. So I rejected Amazon. To be very honest, I said to the HR that I cannot join, I cannot defer my attempt because I will lose all the momentum which I have. So they accepted my rejection, everything. And after 10 or 12 days, they came back to me and they said that, we are accepting a plea of 3 months of leaves and everything. So they don't give separate leaves for GNCS or advanced ITT, to be very
Okay.
honest. But they have this policy. You can actually, if the HR says that, you have to compulsorily defer your attempt and still you on board and you ask your manager, and if he's okay with it, you can give your attempt. So that is very variable with respect to profiles.
Okay. And what was your study cash status like? Before joining Amazon and after joining Amazon, was it feasible to manage both, or was it
So
little
let me tell
difficult?
you,
Yeah.
uh, to be very honest, before joining articleship, I was not sure whether I have to do industrial training or not. Unlike majority of the people who are very sure that, I have to go for industrial training. But I started doing audits. I was doing them very decently. I had some other assignments also, like I said, but I got a little fed up of it. So I thought, why not give it a try? And like I said, exploring was one of the main reasons. So I started studying after 1 year of my articleship. So my articleship started in February 2020. I started my studies in 2021. But I was pretty clear I will start late, but I will not stop. So
Right.
I did my lectures, completed it, and I was very consistent with it. So after joining Amazon also, like I said, onboarding was there for a 1 month. So I completed my backlog there also. Sorry. That
Okay.
was there and I was able to, because it is work from home now, I was able to complete my all the studies with respect to the lectures.
Okay. So Amazon is offering work from home or work from office? What is the
Yeah, that
policy?
is a good question. So
Yeah.
uh, it is until May, it was completely work from home. From June, everybody was asked to return to office. Okay, and it was
Okay.
a hybrid model. Basically, it was hybrid, as in 2 days in a week was physical office, and 3 days was work from home from Bangalore.
Okay.
My office is in Bangalore. So I asked my manager that anyways I'm going on leave from 1st of August. So can I just continue work from home for 2 more months, and I'll join back for 3 months in November as per the
Right.
policy. So he said he'll get back to me, and luckily he accepted my plea. And he said that, you can do this, but we want you in November. So I will join back Bangalore office in November.
Okay, great. The next and the one most important question which students have, what is the stipend?
Before I answer that question, I would just say that during your practical training,
Yeah.
Either you join articleship or industrial training. Don't take decision based off your stipend. I mean, at the
Yeah.
time Morgan Stanley was offering me 52,000 rupees per month, but I rejected that because the profile was not which I was looking for. Now Amazon is giving me roughly around 35,000 rupees, so I am fine with it. At least I live out of my, I don't live in my hometown, so I can manage my own expenses, and
Okay.
it is actually huge money for me.
Okay. And what are the normal or average working hours in Amazon?
For Amazon particularly, it is very flexible. So I join my, I mean, I log in at somewhere around 9:30. I log in, I plan my day, I see what are the tasks I have to do today, what are the meetings which which people have sent me an invite for, and then I continue with my day. For example, sometimes I have no work till 1 p.m., but after that I have calls lined up. Sometimes I have 3 4 calls before lunch only, so that day I can log out earlier because there won't be any calls in the evening. So that way it is very very flexible. But
Okay.
because I've only seen Amazon, I cannot comment about other companies, like
Yeah.
MS or some other stuff, HSBC or anything like that. But majority investment banks, they offer reporting profile for industrial trainees, and they will majority will ask you to log in around 11:30, and the work will continue till late because it is UK timings.
Okay. And can you now just brief us about your interview process and some of the questions you would remember? Like,
Yeah. So that is my favorite question. Definitely would like to give an insight about it.
ah,
So let me go chronologically. BPCL happened only out of my CV. So I got shortlisted. I got a call from a person. I cannot name the person. He
yeah.
was a CA there working already. He called me. He said, "You're selected for BPCL. Can you join Mumbai office from the notice was very short, from 15 days from now." So I said, "Isn't there any technical round or anything like that?" So he said, "I'll just ask you a couple of questions over the call." It was an informal call on my cell phone. So I answered the couple of questions, and I got selected. But because it was accounting, I rejected it. After that, I got into, let us say, HSBC. Okay, so HSBC interview was the best out of the three, let me tell you. It was very technical. It was a panel of three people sitting in front of me. They were asking me very good questions, very good questions based out of not exactly India's, but something similar, and how a banking organization should work in your view. Having the knowledge that I did not work in any of the bank or any of the financial sector in my article, so I did not know anything about it, but they were just checking whether I had the general principles cleared.
Okay.
HSBC was very good. Coming back to Morgan Stanley, it was a little technical. They asked me some very technical questions out of my CV. This is the assignment which you did. What are the outcome of this? How did you escalate? What was that? And basically, what they test, in my view, is what is your approach towards work, because they
Okay.
also know trainees are someone who are not very technically sound, and because we are coming from Indian CA background, there are a lot of compliance work also which we do, and we will not be able to answer very technical or very practical questions. So the corporates test your approach, and that is what I would like to suggest to everyone who is doing practical training, either articleship or industrial training. You will not be able to cover 100% of the work. Even after 10 years of experience, you will not be able to say that I have done each and every assignment possible for a CA. That will not happen. What one thing which is in our hands is to develop an approach towards work. Whenever
Okay.
something is given to you, whenever a senior asks you to do something, how do you approach towards the work? That is very important, and that is, in my view, is the main purpose of articleship. you know how to develop an approach, because once you develop an approach, it is like permutation combination. Anything that comes to you, you know what my approach is. This I have to do, this way I have to do, this is the person I have to contact, and you will get the job done.
Okay. And the
So
last one is
develop an
Amazon.
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amazon interview was very special to me. uh, in fact, Amazon shortlisting is the very difficult part, and interview is not that tough. They will not ask you in days, in my view. I'm saying this based out of my experience. They did not ask me any technical questions. It was everything about my work experience. So what Amazon does is, they have these 14 leadership principles. Okay, which are somewhere, I can name a couple of them. Customer obsession is one, frugality is one, disagree
Okay.
commit is one. So there are a lot. Deep dive is one. So
Okay.
they will send, the HR will send you a PDF a couple of days before your interview. Okay, she'll ask you to go through each and every leadership principle, and the interviewer will ask you, were there any instances where you in the past where you were able to achieve these principles. So you have to put your work experience in those principles. So there are 14 principles. You pick up five. You say that this was one instance where I was very frugal. This is an instance when I disagreed with my senior and I committed and I performed. This was one instance where I dived deep. Basically that is there, and there are 3 or 4 rounds depending on the candidature, and they shortlist you and they start the onboarding process. So it is not very technical, provided you don't lie in your CV. That is true with every company I gave the interview with. You cannot even give a single false word in your CV. You just have
Okay.
to write the assignments which you have genuinely done and which you can answer. There was one instance when where I had mentioned one this assignment, I did this assignment, and they asked me, can you recall the Excel sheet you worked in and how many line items are there? So it is
Oh.
that deep on your work ex.
Oh.
So it actually depends on whether, and they check the genuinity. If I ask you the same question and you say it in split second that there are 5,329 lines, it also questions your genuinity, whether you are lying or not, or because
Right.
I complete, because this is one question nobody is prepared for.
Right.
You actually have to go behind and think, what I did, and that was for my first or second assignment. So I was
Right.
actually thinking what I actually did, and I frankly said that I don't know the number of line items, but I remembered the size of the file. It was somewhere 13 MB or something like that. So I
Okay.
said that. So they
Uh,
check your genuinity and approach, obviously.
okay. And can you name some technical question or something that were asked? Like if you remember something, some questions.
From HSBC, I'll have to recall. There was one question. They actually test you. They will start with imagine you have got a job at HSBC. You are earning around 30 lakh per month. You are 30 lakh per year, and you are basically trying to find a home loan. See how they pull you towards the question. Okay, it was your dream to buy a home loan, but you are financially sound, and what are the people talking about, not buying the home, leasing it. So this is a situation. They give me a question. This is the situation. This is the leases you will get. This is the actual amount of loan which you have to repay. So it is not something, you have to prepare a repayment schedule or not, like that. It is just your back of the envelope calculations. So this I said, now what question they asked me was, let us assume your present value of what the loan you are repaying is, let us assume 1 crore rupees. I'm just giving hypothetical
Yes.
numbers, I'm not sure about the numbers.
Yes.
And what leases you will pay is 9 lakh 99 lakh 90,000. So there's 10,000 gap. So I said
Okay.
I will definitely choose owning a house, because I'm coming from an Indian background. I have it in the back of the mind that you have to own a home, and that is a
Yes.
prestigious thing. So
Yes.
because the financial difference is very low, I'll do that. So they said, okay, that is nice. And then they pulled me toward the actual question, which was, if we are giving you a loan, HSBC is giving you a home loan,
Right.
what will be the entry in the books of HSBC? So I said this will be the entry. Little very basic entries they will ask, and
Right.
then then they said that they are asking for a financial guarantee from me.
Yeah.
So how will they account for a financial guarantee? And
Okay.
not based out of India, because they know I have not worked in a banking company. So I thought, and I answered something. I don't remember exactly, but I said, I think financial guarantee will not come into the books. It will just be disclosed, because you don't have any right to ask for it. The right
Right.
will occur only once I default in the repayment. So that was one question which got me into HSBC.
Okay.
And then there were similar questions, what is the what is the actual linkage between profit and loss account and the cash flow statement? Have you actually prepared those? What figures of P&L go to the cash flow? What are direct methods of cash flow, indirect methods? So there were some technical questions which you can answer only once you have worked. Only once you've prepared, financial statement of different companies, what a cash flow.
Yes.
They said
Okay.
that one question was, if I had to elaborate, in
Yeah.
HSBC only. These are technical questions which are
Yeah.
basically asked for HSBC only. So the one question was, let us assume your total operating cash flows, total cash flows, let me put
Okay.
it that way. Total cash flows were very positive. So your company is having a good inflow.
Okay.
So on that basis, can you say that, this company is doing very well? I said, obviously no. I'll just have to check what are the operating cash flows, what are the investing cash flows. So they said investing cash flows were very high and operating cash flows were very, very low. I mean, they were in negative. So what can you interpret of this? So I said the company is making losses, and for current assets, they're going for, fixed assets. For current liabilities, they are paying current liabilities through fixed assets. So there is an asset liability mismatch because your investing cash flows is coming to be very nice. It means you're liquidating your fixed assets or
Right.
current investment, whatever
Right.
it is, and then you're paying off your current liabilities because you are
Right.
having operating losses.
Right.
So these are some varied questions which you have to be very spontaneous, and you cannot prepare for these questions. You can answer only if you have written everything in your CV truly.
Okay. And what about Morgan Stanley?
Morgan Stanley, like I said, I think we have time. We have time. I can talk for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So Morgan Stanley, I had written in my CV that I have done internal audits of this sector, and one of my sector was they were manufacturing some chemicals which are used for extraction. So I had written that I did P2P, I did O2C, I did treasury management. So that person went, which was not the highlights of my CV. It was
Right.
just a second line that I have expertise in internal audit of P2P, O2C, etc. And I've done statutory audits of all the majority of the sectors. So internal audit पे ना उसने मेरे को सवाल पूछ लिया और बहुत डिटेल
Okay.
में जाके he asked me a question that what were your key observations. I was very keen because I had worked and I had prepared the report and everything. He went into the detail of that transaction and he said what was the management's response, and
Okay.
at the place you are sitting in the interview you cannot lie about it, to be very
Right.
honest. I
Right.
said I had मैंने क्या किया था, let me tell you in a very nutshell. uh, I think it was P2P only, which is procurement to payment. उसमें ना इनवॉइस में जो केजीज रहता है,
Right.
ठीक है, इनवॉइस में जो केजीज था और पेमेंट का जो ये था, that was not matching. It was O2C, it was not P2P. सेल्स
Okay.
इनवॉइस तुमने जनरेट किया, सेल्स
Okay.
इनवॉइस में 100 किलो वजन लिखा, ठीक है,
Okay.
तुम्हारे पेमेंट रिसीट में 100 नहीं आ रहा था.
Right.
And because it was a chemical manufacturing unit, उसमें इनवॉइस में you give the actual weight which is of the liquid, but in the payment you give the weight plus the barrel's weight. So there's a difference which
Right.
should be justifiable.
Right.
So when you do an internal audit, you have to deep dive and understand what are the differences. So I had deep dived a lot. तो उन्होंने मेरे को पूछा कि what are the categories of barrels they have? Are they serving the safe barrels to the customers? Have you prepared a matrix that whether for small customers these barrels are used and for large customers these barrels are used, and is the difference justifiable? For
Okay.
example, if I'm selling it to Taha and for the packaging weight is 5 kilos,
Right.
and what actual weight of the liquid is, let's say let's say 2 kilos, so 7
Okay.
kilos should be there in the payment. And
Right.
if in the payment it is 7.5 or something, and if it is justifiable beyond your materiality, then it's fine. But is the variation depend, मतलब तुमने basically in a nutshell customer wise तुमने analysis किया क्या?
Right.
खत्म. That's it, based out of the packaging cost. But what majority of us do is uh, sales register ले लिया, actual weight ले लिया, then I compare it with my samples, payment
Right.
receipt में जो है,
Right.
I
Right.
take a blanket rate for everyone. I take a
Right.
blanket rate. But that is the specific question he wanted to ask, that did the management also ask you that had you taken the blanket rate, or did you bifurcate it into customer wise and everything? So that is one question I was really, it is not very technical, it is not related to Indies, but it is on your CV and it is on your practical experience actually.
Right. It was great. Yeah. The question was quite great.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I asked for 5 more minutes, because had I said it in one sentence, nobody would have understood.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, we can say like this investment banking, all they majorly give generally give the reporting profile, and they
That
will
is very true, and that is what people mistake it for. They think that they will get into asset management and everything. There are profiles for asset management, no doubt about it, but there are very limited profiles. There are financial reporting, like I said, in HSBC it is GRCA. So these are similar profiles which they give to industrial trainees.
okay. And one last question I need to ask, like, uh, do you had some additional certifications or something which leveraged your CV or something more which leveraged your CV?
Personally, I had nothing like that. To be very honest, I don't have any certification from Coursera, nothing like that. I was pretty serious with my, articleship also. I did it very seriously. And I had cleared my foundation in the first and inter in the first. That was the achievement. I don't think it is an achievement now, but yes, no additional certifications I had. I just, got the CV at the right place at the right time. I had no references, to be very honest. Nobody. I had cold messaged so many people from Amazon on LinkedIn. Nobody had replied. But after I joined, I also started getting messages. But I have, mentored more than 20 people. I just give them my number because I think the stage which I was in, I just wanted to join industrial training. Nobody was helping me.
Right,
I thought nobody should face that. And after you're getting shortlisted, like I got shortlisted in Amazon. Okay,
right,
I know some people there from LinkedIn. I found that these are industrial trainees already working there. I messaged some person there. She said, I'm too lazy to type again. I've typed it so many times. So that was the kind of response I was getting.
right.
That day I decided if I, join Amazon, I will not do that to anyone. I will just, say whatever is there. So that is why I was asking the recording for this. I can just
Right.
post it somewhere and just share the link with everyone.
Yeah, great. I will share you the recording, and also we'll also post in our on YouTube channel because
Yeah, yeah, I'll post after that only. I'll let the
yeah,
Vikasa channel post it officially, and then
right,
I'll post.
right, right. So yeah, it was nice talking to you, Harsh. Great. Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing all your
one tip
insights.
I'll have to give, which
Yeah,
is one very common question, that how do we apply for industrial training? This is the
yeah.
best question. I mean, the most amount of time I get this question. So you can join Telegram groups. You have to be active on LinkedIn, and there's one website. I don't know who owns the website, but this is very secret. But because I've come on a live call for this, I'm telling, it is cacscma.com.
Okay.
cacscma.com.
cscma.com. Okay.
Yeah. So on that website they post live what is going on, where's the vacancy, and the POCs. For example, in Amazon, you can send your CV to XX person. So you
Okay.
can directly send your CV, or the portal link is there. For Amazon, it was the portal link. You have to go on the portal and apply.
Okay. Okay. We will definitely spread your message to everyone. And
Yeah.
thank you for all your insights. Thank
Yeah.
you for
And
making out
if
the time.
anybody wants to, have a detailed conversation with me, they can obviously connect with me on LinkedIn. It is Harsh Khandelwal only. So they can
Yeah.
find it on LinkedIn and just ping me. I'll get back within some time.
Yeah. Okay. All the best for your exams in November, and thank you.